You are Locked On Tigers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Do not adjust your radio dial or change your YouTube link, whatever it is. No, it's the exact same story as last night. You didn't click the wrong episode. Yes, tonight was another 2-1 loss to the Atlanta Braves. It's deja vu. You can't make it up. And I'm not even going to yell. I'm not going to scream and get mad. It's just laughable at this point. 3 straight games, this Tigers offense has scored 1 run. I mean, it's just a joke. That's the only way we can put it, but we'll talk about it. A lot has happened in Major League Baseball that we'll spend more time on today or tonight, I should say, in higher level with Chris Ilitch being at the game. I wanted to touch on that. So another live edition of a Locked On Tigers postcast. As always, fired up to be with you. My name is Jake Riepma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma, formerly with 97.1 The Ticket, the flagship of the Detroit Tigers, now with Locked On Sports and Locked On Sports Detroit, your destination for all things post-game. It's a Locked On Tigers postcast, and as always, we thank you for making this your post-game destination. If you haven't yet, subscribe to Locked On Sports Detroit. If we can get through this horrific baseball season, you're still with us. We'll have a lot of fun when the Lions start playing on Locked On Lions postcast, post-game shows following their games, and continuing to keep the conversation going around the Pistons as well for Locked On Pistons postcast in the hoop season. But it's all part of the Locked On Sports Network, and it's free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on YouTube as well. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. And maybe you were at the game tonight. Hopefully you use Game Time, because if you're going to pay to see the Tigers play, which is miserable for anybody that has to endure that, at least get the $20 off. I know my grandparents were at the game tonight. They made the road trip to Atlanta, and hopefully they enjoyed the sights and sounds of the ballpark as a fan, because the team they went to support, well, it was another game they scored 1 run. I mean, the Tigers offense is just lifeless. It's just a joke. Riley Greene's the only one doing anything. He had the RBI tonight, and he's playing at an all-star level, but the rest is just pathetic. It's minor league stuff. It's low market, low budget, just a bad baseball team. And that's now 8 losses in their last 11 games. I got the post game going on to my right in case AJ Hinch says anything interesting, which we know that's not going to happen. But it's not a scream into the microphone, slam the table down. You can't let this team steal your joy. And maybe that's not the right thing to say hosting a Detroit Tigers postcast, because everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And I love this team. I love Major League Baseball. It's one of my favorite sports. The Tigers have always been my favorite team. And it's so disheartening to see where this team is at, and what this once proud franchise has turned into. I mean, the current generation watching this team will have no idea what it was like to, night in and night out. For me, it was Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, Victor Martinez. Before that, Maglio Ordonez, Pudge Rodriguez. Even Craig Monroe, Marcus Timms. Those guys were power hitters, and I'm missing a lot. I'm just going off the cusp here. Carlos Guillen was a good hitting shortstop, and you don't have any of that. You don't have any player on this team that any kid would want to wear their jersey. Maybe Riley Greene. That's about it. But it's just night in and night out. There's nothing exciting about this team. They don't do anything well. And I don't want to make this just a big you-know-what fest or a complaint fest, because there were some other things to talk about. Like, we might even spend more time talking about the Atlanta Braves for all I care, because earning his first big league win tonight, Spencer Schwellenbach, the Saginaw, Michigan native, and pretty neat to see. I grew up in Midland, Michigan, very, very close to Saginaw, Michigan, and I remember Spencer Schwellenbach at Saginaw Heritage High School as a phenom in the state of Michigan, earned the 2018 Mr. Baseball award, because I actually, fun fact, I knew his older brother who pitched at Northwood University, the school I went to, and I remember calling games, broadcasting play-by-play games of Northwood versus Saginaw Valley, where his other brother, Mason Schwellenbach, went to school and played shortstop. So really neat to see. Happy for the Schwellenbach family, a Michigan family, getting his first big league win against the Detroit Tigers. And quite frankly, that's more interesting and more of a compelling story than anything going on with the Detroit Tigers, in my opinion. So kudos to him. And he shut down the Tigers offense, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, gave up the 1 earned run, struck out 7, and walked 2. But I don't want to spend too much time talking about the opposition because it is a Locked On Tigers postcast. But tip of the cap to Spencer Schwellenbach to get his first big league win. Awesome stuff there. And it comes against the Michigan natives' former hometown team, the Detroit Tigers. But we'll get to the comments too, because I always want to make it as welcoming and interactive as possible. Because if you're putting up with this team day in and day out, well, you deserve to have your voice heard on a Locked On Tigers postcast. So let's go ahead and get into it. Demetrius McNeil, for the last 5 games, the Tigers have scored at least 1 run and another loss in the series. Scott Harris is a clown. Yeah, that's an appropriate emoji to use. And I wrote this down because I wanted, or I bookmarked it. Who am I kidding here? We don't write anything down. Jim Costa of 97 The Ticket tweeted this out yesterday, and obviously it's true again today. So make it 19 of 73 games so far this season, the Tigers have been held to 1 run or fewer. So unless they're winning 1-0, that's just 19 automatic losses. You can't make it up. You really can't. And 25% of the games you're just throwing away. It's laughable. It's egregious. The fans deserve better. Changes have to be made. People have to be held responsible. I know AJ Hinch isn't the one going up there and hitting, but you got to do something. Baseball's a weird game. Sure. The hitting staff, whether it be they've got a couple of different hitting coaches that are listed. You got Keith Beauregard and Michael Berdar, both listed as hitting coaches. Fire them both. I don't know. It's one of those nights where I feel like firing everybody. But it's laugh or cry. That's the only way I can put it. Johnny Bryles in the comments, another waste of a good pitching outing. You should win most games when the other team scores 2 runs, not the Tigers. That's exactly it. I mean, I should have gone back and counted every 2-1 game this team has lost, or 1-0 game for that matter, or even when the opposition scores 3 runs or less, how many games they're still beating the Tigers, because it's egregious. And I hate to just sound like a broken record over and over and over again, but I don't know what else to say about this team. And at least it's not like the Bally Sports broadcast and post-game show that has to pamper to this team that's just middling along in less than mediocrity. I mean, it's just a bad baseball team. We can at least call it how it is here on Locked On Tigers postcast. I'm sure they're in their post-game show now talking about what a great effort it was again tonight. And it's just not. And it's not a fun team to watch. It's not a fun team to support. The fans deserve better. It's just some low-budget, small-market team that was once a proud organization, a pillar of Major League Baseball as a franchise with a prestigious history that now is just going off into the abyss of nothingness. All right. Wow, that was a lot there. Born Cool saying same song and dance. It's depressing. It is. And I said this the other day. I don't blame anybody that's utilizing their free time doing something else. And again, that's probably not the best thing to say if I'm hosting a Locked On Tigers postcast centered around the Detroit Tigers, but I'm not going to insult anyone's intelligence. I'm not going to insult anyone by saying, oh, this is can't miss Detroit Tigers baseball. No, there's just a bunch of minor leaguers out there that Scott Harris assembled and said, oh, we got some young guys and good young core. And we just get, as a fan base, we get gaslighted every time, or gaslit. I don't know the proper grammar of that term, but we get sold this this bill of lies that this team is progressing and it's just not. So maybe that's too negative, but you guys know me by now. It's 100% authenticity is what you'll get from me. A couple of other comments. Word Vango, bring Torque and Javier back. Good gosh, we are bleeped. I won't say that word, but thank you for not typing it. Yeah, we are. Oh yeah, I said I was going to bring the comments on the screen. That's kind of fun how we do that. Let me get Born Cool some action there. Same song and dance. It's depressing. Yeah. All right. The trade deadline will be interesting from Born Cool here. Inevitable we're sellers at this point. Yeah, it's heading that way because this stretch has just been it's been bad baseball. And maybe we do want to break down the X's and O's. I thought Casey Mize for giving up, getting shelled by the first couple of batters in the game to only give up 2 runs in his outing was kind of a miracle because the first 2 batters of the game scored with the single, triple, single. So maybe we do go to that next, but I'm at a loss. So, all right. A couple more comments before we get into the second portion of today's show, because Chris Ilitch is in Atlanta or was in Atlanta. Bally Sports did a segment on it, and we'll talk about that next. So don't go anywhere. We'll read the comments as well. We got a couple more segments to go here on Locked On Tigers Postcast. All right, fired up to tell you about the Game Time app, and more importantly, to use that Game Time app at a sporting event or concert or comedy show, any live event, to earn yourself $20 off. Don't waste it by going to a Tigers game. You got better things to do with your free time. But let me tell you about Game Time. It's an easy-to-use app that guarantees the lowest price possible, and as the day and time of the event gets closer and closer, those prices go down, down, down. The great thing about the Game Time app is it actually rewards procrastinators like myself. Say you and the fellas, you and your girls, whoever it is, the crew, not looking for something to do, day of, no problem. Hop on Game Time. They're going to get you the lowest price guaranteed to that live event, that concert, that comedy show, that ball game. It's baseball season, so get out and support your team, even if it's not the Detroit Tigers, because they're not worth supporting right now. But right now, new customers, when you download the Game Time app and use that code LOCKEDONMLB, you'll get $20 off. Favorite thing about the Game Time app? Well, I've got a couple of different favorite ones, but this is one you take your pen and pencil out and you write it down, because Game Time has this little feature called all-in pricing. Brilliant, right? What a concept. They actually show you the price that you're going to pay for the tickets, and you don't go, it's not like when you go use other ticketing apps and you go to check out, fee. No. With Game Time, you can see that all-in pricing. I'm pounding the desk because I like this part of the app so much, so you know exactly how much you're going to pay. They also have flash deals, which is a good idea because you can get deals if you're not keen on sitting in one particular seat. Game Time finds the best seats for you and the best flash deals. You also get that nice high-res photo of where you're going to be sitting. So, hey, there's no deception. You know exactly what you're getting into. So don't take my word for it. Download the Game Time app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Terms do apply, but download the Game Time app. Use that code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends at Supply House. In fact, I just saw a Supply House truck driving around the other day, delivering coast to coast, because that's what they do. And the pros, yeah, they trust Supply House because you can get supplies that's from people that know about the skilled trades, right? Supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products all online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. I love that because, listen, We all know time is money. Fast shipping coast to coast. There you go. If you need help with an order, you can get expert support from an industry-leading service team of the friendliest folks in the business. And talk to a real person. Everybody hates talking to representative, and having to repeat yourself over. No. With Supply House, you're going to talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades get a competitive edge by joining supplyhouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. All right, so here's where I wanted to go next, talking about the owner of this team, Chris Ilitch. But before we do that, let's get a couple more comments on the screen because I think there are some interesting conversations to be had here. And I want to make sure I'm heeding to the comments that are being made because I appreciate everybody's insight. I appreciate everybody's contributions to a Locked On Tigers postcast. And David Gustafson here, biggest offseason acquisition was the TV broadcaster. How many other teams are saying the same thing? Yeah, I love Benetti on the call. Yeah, that was a huge offseason acquisition. Mark Pajot, trading Scooble seems inevitable now. After 60 years of being hopeful, this team has drained all my positivity. SMH. Yeah, for me, it's half that long, but it's the same concept. And we had some fun to enjoy there with the Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Miguel Cabrera era. 3 straight AL Central championships, never won the World Series, got to a couple World Series, but yeah, it is not exactly hopeful right now. Speaking of the broadcast, anyone know where Simo went? He hasn't been on since that last game. He got a bit spicy. I'm sure he got a talking to. I can't confirm that, and I'm not sure exactly which game you're referring to, Born Cool, but I think we've talked about it before that they really do have the analyst by committee angle all set up now, or that approach anyways. It's Benetti, and then sometimes it'll be Petrie, sometimes Simo, Todd Jones, Carlos Pena. And from what I understand, I remember some of the press releases that in reading we used to get the memos that would be sent from the Tigers when I was at the ticket. And I remember them having a pretty set calendar. So it could just be Simo taking some time off, but I also wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers had some kind of talking. They've been known to do that in the past. All right, Martin Boonstra. Pobo can just say none of these guys are my guys, which means we better get used to some bad baseball. His guys are like 12 years old. I'm assuming that's president of baseball operations. Yeah. Yeah, we're a long, long ways away. That's I guess the only way to sum it all up is you got your number 1 draft pick, first overall, Spencer Torkelson in AAA, Casey Mize, number 1 overall draft pick, and feels like he hasn't won in years. I know it's not all his fault. He had the long road back after the injury, but he's 1-4 this season. And he goes just 4 innings today and had to pitch around a lot of traffic and was fortunate to get out of there with only 2 runs. So, yeah, on top of not having any hope, let me add the Chris Ilitch developments, probably a better way to put it, from yesterday at the game. Bally Sports did a kind of a segment recapping him watching batting practice, the B-roll of him talking to the different players, and said he's visiting a friend from school and loves being at the game, so on and so forth. And the comments on this little social media video and post that Bally put out about Chris Ilitch were so ruthless and so negative that it just truly gave you a glimpse into how this fan base feels about the ownership and about Chris Ilitch. Bally Sports deleted the post. They deleted the social media post. And I just think that would give, if I'm an owner, if I'm the Detroit Tigers, if I'm Bally Sports, and I see whatever, and I know it's just social media and people are angry on social media and people are mad all the time, and you can't put too much stock into the comments, otherwise you drive yourself crazy. But at the same time, it's like even just B-roll footage of the Tigers owner at a game talking about his team upsets this fan base so much to the point where you felt like you needed to delete the post because of all the negative responses. I just think that encapsulates where this team is at, where this organization is at, and it really is a low point any way you put it. And management, all the way down from the coaching staff, AJ Hinch, to the players, it's just a really, really low point right now. And there's no hope. There's no belief. Everybody's apathetic. I know I'm apathetic. If it were a team I believed in, and other than just my true fan passion of wanting this team to be good, I would be more upset. I'd be angry. I'd question decisions, but they're so bad now. It's just like, it's just not worth it. It's just a bad baseball team. That's what it turns into. But baseball lost a great one today, and I think it's appropriate to end the show talking about that. We'll do that next. Don't go anywhere. Locked On Tigers postcast wraps up in just a minute. All right, today's show made possible by Prize Picks. The most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports is Prize Picks. I'm telling you, you're going to absolutely love it. It takes just about 60 seconds to set a Prize Pick lineup. All you do is pick more or less on 2 or more players' projected stats and a shot to win up to 100 times your money. Prize Picks has all kinds of fun and unique promotions, from demons to goblins. Demons a little bit more difficult to win, but they're going to pay out a little bit more. Goblins a little bit easier. Maybe you stack your lineup with that. Prize Picks has something for every single sports fan, from baseball and basketball to League of Legends and everything in between. You can pick your favorite players or get crazy with some exciting ones all the way in the same lineup. And let me tell you, Prize Picks is available in more than 30 states across the country. And Prize Picks even offers injury insurance so that your lineup stays in play, even if one of your player gets injured. For baseball games, if you have a player who registers 2 plate appearances or less, Prize Picks will have your back and not count that as a loss. There you go. So don't take my word for it. You got to download the app today. I do it all the time. It's a blast. I play Prize Picks all the time. I've got the app downloaded. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, you download the Prize Picks app. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. You pick more, you pick less. It's that easy. All right, I wanted to end today's show with as sincere and humble tribute to one of the greatest of all time, just an absolute legend, on the passing today, sad news, of Willie Mays. And it's such a big loss for Major League Baseball. Obviously, my age, I never had the chance to see Willie Mays play, but I remember my grandfather telling me stories about him seeing Willie Mays play, and it's just unequivocally the best player he ever saw play, and a true 5-tool player. The contributions that Willie Mays made to the game are immeasurable. And we talked about at the beginning of Locked On Tigers postcast that the Tigers are missing a player for a young generation to idolize and to get behind. Willie Mays was the face of Major League Baseball. And again, I'm too young to even truly appreciate his greatness and the legendary contributions he made to the game. But at the same time, someone like me, it really resonates, the passing of his passing today, because of that iconic status he achieved and the highlights I saw of him, from back in the day. And Major League Baseball is going to play a game coming up at the I'm blanking on the name of the stadium, but and I'm sure they'll honor Willie Mays in that capacity, which will be neat to see. But tough day for Major League Baseball and the passing of Willie Mays. But one of the definition of a 5-tool player, and the 600 plus home runs, the contributions that he made to the game, and the ambassador that he was for the game. It really is a tough day for Major League Baseball, but at the same time, a life well lived from Willie Mays. So wanted to give a sincere tip of the cap and salute to one of the all-time greats in Major League Baseball. So maybe you got some Willie Mays stories if you ever saw him play. I know I watched the highlights of the footage, the say hey kid, the over the shoulder catch, anytime you have plays that are named after, or your name becomes a verb. He pulled a Willie Mays. That is, that's a nod to the impact that you've had on the game of baseball, the impact he had on so many players. And hearing Benetti talk about him on the broadcast was really neat tonight. So sad that he has passed on, but at the same time, a salute to a life very well lived. But the Tigers, unfortunately, continue to play a very poor brand of baseball. They lose again to the Atlanta Braves. They've dropped the first 2 games of this series 2-1, both of them, and now are 5 games under 500 at 34-39, 18-20 on the road, and will look to avoid the sweep. That's now, I believe, 4 straight series losses. So it just has not, it hasn't been good. And there's no getting around that by any means. Tomorrow, day game, early start. It's a 12:20 start on the East Coast, and it'll be Tarek Skubal on the mound. So the Tigers at least have a chance to win. Ronaldo Lopez for the Braves. 12:20 start, first pitch at Truist Park. And maybe the Tigers can scratch out a win, but they've lost 8 of their last 11. Series-wise, they have lost the last 4 series. And, ever since they took 2 out of 3 from the Rangers at the beginning of June, they just have not been a good team. Lost 2 out of 3 to the Brewers, 2 out of 3 to the Nationals, 2 out of 3 to the Astros, and now trending towards 2 out of 3 or at least 2 out of 3 to the Braves. So trying to avoid the sweep. So that's where we are. Baseball is not great, but as always, appreciate everybody tuning in. Without you, there is no Locked On Tigers postcast, and it's an honor to be on the air, even if our team doesn't play like that, but we do all we can. So if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe. Locked On Sports Detroit. We continue to grow this audience and continue to try to put a brave face on watching this team day in and day out. But make sure you check out Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley as well. All the Locked On Detroit shows, amazing. Locked On Lions, Locked On Pistons, Locked On Red Wings. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button because you don't want to miss anything. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Locked On Tigers Postcast.